Welcome back, Dan. How are you, buddy?
Busy, man, but I'm here.
I'm so glad that you're here. It gets so lonely.
Yeah, I know.
And also I start to like feel like I'm crazy because like I'll say something and then I'll talk to myself, and I feel like a crazy person recording by myself in my room. It's good to have like give and take. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's good to be here, man.
Yeah, I'm glad. Great fights last week, dude. Crazy. We were just talking about them.
Yeah, I mean, fucking, I was watching the fights. My buddy was out cold,
Who were
and
you
I'm just like,
watching with?
my buddy Kev.
My buddy, shout out to Kev.
Shout out to Kev. He
Shout
was
out to
out
Kev.
cold. I see the knockout. I'm like sitting there in silence and shock for a minute.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no.
Dude, I was like hammered drunk because I was like at the beach in the morning, and then like we had like a thing at night, and then I
Connor doesn't invite me to watch the fights.
I do too. I do too. This wasn't my thing. And
Yeah, get called out.
and dude, I don't watch the first 4 rounds of the Leon Edwards thing. I'm like, fuck it, whatever. I sit down for like the fifth round, and I'm like just talking, and then I see that, and my mind is just blown. I'm
It
like,
takes like a
what
minute
was
to
this fight
process
like?
it.
He's like, oh, he was getting beat up. I was like, what the fuck? Pretty awesome.
Crazy, man.
Yeah. And then Jorge Masvidal was a fucking bitch calling out Leon Edwards like that. You see that?
He would beat Jorge's ass
But it's so
so bad.
Ben Askren posted, he was like, you can't sucker punch a guy, not talk about him for 3 years because you're afraid of him, and then once he becomes champ, you start calling him out. Like that's just no one's gonna buy that, dude. No one wants to see
Yeah,
that.
Jorge Masvidal, like, what a fucking downfall that man's had.
I know, dude. He had it going for a while.
I was a fan, and then he got weird, man.
Yeah, he like once the Trump stuff was kind of like his downfall. I think he lost a lot of fans after that.
He lost like the MMA community is pretty right wing.
Oh, for sure.
Like, like
That's fair to say.
I mean, I think for myself for the most part. So I'm not gonna say my political
Yeah,
affiliations,
like
but
I
like
think political affiliations are dumb. Like, how could you think totally with one fucking side? How
I
fucking
know that that's
dumb.
the point that I'm just like, hey man, like what the fuck?
Yeah, I'm against politics.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not with it at all, man.
Yeah. Wow. All right, we should probably start this. Yeah, William Gomez versus Jarno Aarons. That's so wrong because William Gomez is French. I don't know how you say it. Up and coming French mixed martial artist, 25 years old. He fights out of MMA Factory Paris, like Ciryl Gane. So, kind of fights like him too. He's got that kickboxing style, very strong clinch. And from what the tape I've seen, he does take a decent amount of damage on the feet because he has a very good chin, but that's a very dangerous game to play. And he actually does have a decent sub game too. Jarno, also a good striker, very not fundamental. He's very hard to figure out. Likes to counter a lot, moves a lot, has great footwork, avoids a lot of damage, powerful striker. And he actually started his MMA journey as a great submission artist too. So he has that in his back pocket. Both guys are well rounded, somewhat young, and I like Aaron's a little bit more in this. I just from what I've seen, he's more polished in there. He looks like he's more developed and like further down in his MMA career. Um, and I like that striking. I really did from what I saw. So I'm gonna go with him in this one. Jarno Aaron's. I don't know. I don't even know if the odds are out yet.
Yeah, I don't think they're out yet. This
They're
fight
not out.
got added after I did my research, so I can't. I'm not gonna go out there and give
Yeah, that's
an
all good.
educated opinion on the fight.
Yeah. Should be a fun one to start the night. Two guys relatively unknown. Um, yeah, I like Aaron's though. I assume that he's going to be the underdog just because I think people are just going to bet on Gomez because he's fights out of um, MMA Factory Paris with Ciryl Gane and no Ciryl Gane and stuff like that. But yeah, we're gonna move right into the next one. I actually had this Stephanie Egger one too. It's
We could do that one.
you like that one? You want to take it?
You start it off. I'll do the next one.
All right. So yeah, Stephanie Egger just fought recently actually. Like she got like subbed in the first round. by who was it? Mario Buena Silva.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the first round, and kind of like
Weird
got
sub though. Weird sub.
weird sub. Might have been an early stoppage, a little bit. I don't know, but she just got beat at her own game. That's what she's done. That's what she does. She's a judo practitioner, so she has a really good ground and pound, good arm bars. Um, just overall a striker, and doesn't is not that you know great on the
Yeah.
feet. She kind of one sided. I don't really like her striking. Alan Perez, she's making her UFC debut. 7-1 record. One loss is coming from illegal knees, so she was winning in that fight when she lost. More of a striker, relatively young, as a Sonda background, 27 years old. I saw like the fight. She's just kind of got like softballed a lot of her fights. She doesn't have. She's kind of green, and she's if you look at her record, it's kind of not the best of competition. And I watched a fight from recently, one of her wins from like her past four wins. Yasmin, I forget her first name, something Yasmin, and the girl was like, she was so much bigger than this girl. It was like not fair. I'm like, are they just like, is she just picking like whoever she wants to fight to like build up her record? Yeah, she slowed down as the fight went on, and the girl was like so undersized, and she's actually making her 145 debut. So I think that Egger is gonna have a little bit more size on her, and
Yeah.
she's just got a lot more experience. So
She's
I'm
got
gonna
the
go with
bigger fight experience in the UFC. I was gonna say that.
yeah,
And
and she's actually fought like tough competition. And this other
hmm
girl has done, from what I've seen, she's done relatively nothing. I'm not impressed. I
yeah,
am
she
not
doesn't have
impressed by
a
your
big track
performance.
record. She doesn't have much of a track record. It's hard to really be confident in her in this pick. The safe bet is to just roll with Stephanie Egger in this
Stephanie
one.
Egger. And I think that's a solid. But Stephanie Egger will probably bounce back, like do her thing, grapple. It's probably going to go to decision. Well, maybe submission, but um, yeah, I don't know about this girl. I gotta see her first against like some real competition, and then I'll get to decide. But we're both
Yeah.
gonna go with Stephanie Egger in that one, and we're gonna move right into the next one, which is what, Dan? What's the next one?
I have Firas Ziam versus Mikhail Figlak.
Yeah, you want to go for it?
Yes, sir.
Go.
Firas Ziam, he's coming off that loss to Terrence McKinney. Terrence McKinney just took him down, um, locked up that choke. Ziam's a great kickboxer, um, but his main struggle has been the people taking him down. We saw that pretty exposed in his last fight. Mikhail Figlak, but not a lot of people don't really know about this guy. He's out of Poland, lightweight. He's young, 26 years old, explosive takedowns. He's from Cage Warriors. If you go back and watch his fights, he definitely throws some pressure in wrestling in. Um, and at minus 200,
Is that what he's at?
um,
Holy
he's
cow!
at minus 200, and I think those are really fair odds from what I've seen. I
Wow.
like Figlak. He really does have good wrestling, and that's where Frasiam could get exposed, undefeated out of Poland.
Right.
I think he comes in and upsets the French crowd, and beats their hometown guy in this fight.
Yeah, dude. I'm gonna agree with you on this one too. I really like him. Fierce for a kickboxing guy, he averages 2 strikes per minute, has a plus point 4 striking differential, 40% accuracy, less than 70% takedown defense, and he's a 4-fight UFC veteran. He barely squeezed by from Luigi Vendramini. Remember that fight? Barely squeezed by, and the Vendramini, tough dude, but he's not the best. And then I watched some like tape from um Mike Figlak, and like his striking is not the most powerful, but dude, he'll never throw one strike. It's crazy.
You know, he's all about the pressure and the
Oh,
wrestling.
oh my god, yeah, it was really great to watch. I think he's going to be a great guy moving forward. And I didn't know he was a minus 200. That's wild to me. But I get it. I'm going to roll with him too, Dan. I love that pick.
Yeah, I love it.
Awesome. We're both going to go with Mike Figlak making his UFC debut. And we're going to move right into the next one, which is.
I have Benoit Saint-Denis against Gabriel Miranda.
All right, we'll roll with yours.
All right, can I take it?
Take it away, my friend.
Benoit Saint-Denis, I think, I'll start off quick. I think he's gonna recapture the home crowd in this fight. He has a win. He beat Nicholas Stoltzfus in his last fight. Uh, Lost to Zaleski dos Santos in his first fight in the UFC. This guy's pretty solid. 5'11", decent size for the division. Miranda's making his UFC debut in this fight.
He's good.
16. He's not bad at all. I love his mustache.
He's got the curly Q mustache. Looks like a badass.
He's a sub threat. He's won most of his fights via sub.
I think 15 out of 16 or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, no, Miranda's looks decent, but I really do think that this has been Saint-Denis' fight. He showed decent takedown prowess in his last fight and was able to cash that sub. I don't see too much striking going on in this one. He was absolutely he was outclassed on the feet against Dos Santos in that fight.
Yeah.
I see him just taking down the fight. He's not the most efficient wrestler, but I still see him being able to take the fight down to the ground and grind out a decision.
Yeah, dude, I don't know about this.
It will get better, though.
Benoit Saint-Denis, he hasn't really impressed me. I know he's a badass French special forces op, and he can take a punch. He took a beating like in that Dos Santos fight. He took like 94 strikes in like one round or something crazy like that. And, but his striking super poor. He's very wrestling heavy, very one-sided. He has finished all 9 of his pro wins, 8 of them by sub, and he wrestle fucked Nicholas Stoltz in his last time out. It was kind of boring fight. But in his UFC debut before that, he went 2 for 14 on takedowns. He just could not take down Dos Santos, and he couldn't close the distance, and he was just picked apart on the feet. Miranda, who's taken this fight on short notice, 16-5 pro record, making his UFC debut, has 100% finish rate, 15 out of 16, by sub. Both guys super. When two guys are very good grapplers like that, the fight usually starts with them striking, and before one of them finally shoots, whoever's losing on the feet will shoot for a takedown. Saint-Denis is the harder hitter for sure. Very heavy leg kick, like he's got like this shotgun leg kick all throughout there. He's a heavy hitter, but he's one of those guys that's too tough for their own good. You know what I mean? And they rely on like taking damage, which is like never smart, never a safe bet. Miranda, very light on his feet, moves his head a lot, kind of like Clay Guida when he moves in there. That kind of thing that he does, that weird back and forth movement. Gets at like a lot of different angles, uses a lot of feints. You know what? I kind of like him in this. I think he's the better striker. If their grappling evens out, I think he's the better striker. So I'm gonna go with him in this one, and he's probably the underdog. Miranda.
Yeah, he looks decently. He's a plus 200 underdog, so if that cashes,
that's a big one. That's a big boy.
Yes, sir.
And we're disagreeing on this one. I'm gonna go with Miranda, and you're gonna go with Saint-Denis. And we're going to move right into the next one. Is that the Stoltzfus one?
Yeah, now I have the Stoltzfus one.
Dustin Stoltzfus versus Absupurian Magomedov. Jesus Christ. Stoltzfus was finally able to get in the win column in his last time out in the UFC. In a pretty good performance against a tough guy to figure out, Dwight Grant. He's a very good striker, tall, lanky. He was supposed to take he's taking this fight on short notice, Stoltzfus. Because what's his name? Muradov pulled out.
Mahmoud Muradov, yeah.
Stoltzfus, very grappling heavy, really relies on that. They put him against 3 straight grapplers to start the UFC, and he lost all 3 of those before getting a win his last time out. His grappling is good, his striking's lackluster, kind of one-sided. Magomedov is making his UFC debut, 24-4 record, finishing 19 of those, mostly by KO. He did have 3 scheduled fights before this, withdrawing from 2 of them. Fought in a pretty low-level organization, but did fight in the PFL, and he made the $1 million tournament, but he was KO'd in 33 seconds in the first round. His strikes are very quick, and they don't look powerful, but they are. Like, it's just, like, effortless, and he goes out there and he touches them, and he's actually, like, a pretty hard hitter. Likes to work the body a lot, also uses a lot of combos, follows up his strikes. But he can grapple too. He doesn't get lost in his hands. He knows when to shoot for a takedown and when to go for a takedown like that. He's much more well-rounded. And I think he's able to stop Stoltzfus's takedowns and just, picks him apart on the feet, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, he's the minus 250 favorite for a reason. Stoltzfus has kind of fizzled throughout his UFC journey so far. Like you said, he's the grappler, but he's been getting subbed in a bunch of his fights.
Oh yeah.
Losing to Rodolfo Vieira and Gerald Meerschaert via sub isn't the worst thing ever, though. They're both very high level.
But he's a
But
grappler too. So he's not,
what?
but he's also a grappler. So if those guys are beating you, you know that you're not as high of a level as grappler and your striking's not good. So where do you stand? It's
He's
probably,
not cream of the crop.
yeah.
Um, Magomedov has looked pretty decent. He had a decent run in the PFL. He did have a loss that came very quickly, but besides that, he's been on a nice run. I like him in this fight too. The only issue is he hasn't fought in nearly 2 years, so that is something to be wary of. So I don't love him at minus 250 value. So I wouldn't necessarily put money on it, but yeah, let's see how the German man does.
Yeah, that's fair to say. Actually, I get that. I don't know if I'm gonna bet on this one either. Really short notice, kind of weird. We'll see how the week goes. But we're both gonna agree. Both gonna go with Magomedov, Abu Magomedov. We're gonna call him that, and we're gonna move right into the next one, which is Nasruddin Imavov versus Joaquin Buckley.
Yes. So Nasruddin Imamov, however the fuck you say it, um, was scheduled to fight Kelvin Gastelum in his last fight. That would have been a good win, a good fight for him for exposure.
Yeah, for sure.
This guy's talented, technical, good on the feet.
His striking's great.
Yeah. Taking on the explosive Joaquin Buckley. Buckley looked honestly
And he looked good.
very good in his last fight against Duraev.
He did.
He seems like he's improving on some of the issues that's given him troubles in the past, like his cardio, and he still has that explosiveness. From a technical standpoint, I like Imavov a lot more, and I think he should be the favorite in this fight. But I hate to be that guy, but it's not. It's another fight I wouldn't necessarily bet on because of just Buckley's raw explosiveness, and he could turn out the lights on basically anybody. But I will confidently say that I think Imavov's going to win. But after last week seeing Kamaru Usman getting just flatline KO'd, I'm wary.
We've seen some like minus 300 underdogs, like at least 3 or 4 of them in the last 2 or 3 weeks. It's been absolutely crazy. Parlay killers all over the place. But Joaquin Buckley, he's, you could say, talk trash about him, but he does always have fun fights. 5-2 in the UFC with 4 Performance of the Night awards. Buckley, a guy known for the athletic ability, knockout power, very fan friendly fight style. But he does get into wars, and because of that, 75% of his losses have ended by KO. And like we say, like we saw in that Usman fight, one punch, Dan. That's all it takes. I'm Imavov
Yeah,
three and
like
one
I
in the
could
UFC.
see Imavov just like riding the wave and doing well at the beginning, and I could see something bad happening.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I got trust issues after that last fight. I'm Imavov
Yeah, I got trust issues, man.
3-1 in his in the UFC so far, hands down, more technical striker. Uh,
Way more.
he's a lifelong boxing background, very straight punches, great jab, +2 striking differential, 56% accuracy. And besides striking, he actually does have a surprising good sub game. I expect this fight to stay on the feet, though. I think for the most part, and I'm gonna go with Imavov too, Dan. I like that.
Yeah, I
Joaquin
mean, he
Buckley's
most
look
likely
good.
wins this fight.
Yeah, just technically. So we're both gonna agree. Both gonna go with Imavov. We're gonna move right into the next one. Charles Jourdain versus Nathaniel Wood. Very interesting matchup. Jourdain is looking the best ever over the course of his last 3 fights, especially. Like he's looked great. Even that loss to Shane Burgos in his last time out, that was I don't know. That was like kind of like a BS decision. I don't know. He's a
I Yeah, I didn't like it.
Yeah, right. He's very fast paced, marches forward, super athletic, a lot of punching power, has a plus 1.5 striking differential, 50% accuracy, and only 51% takedown defense. Nathaniel Wood just came back from a 2 year hiatus, moved up a weight class, and we've only seen him on a pretty small sample size, just that
Hmm.
one fight, but he looked really good. Like he finally put the pieces together, and I like him so much better. He's a much better fit at 145. Likes the strike. I would say he's the more fundamentally sound technical striker out of the two. Not as flashy as Jourdain, or has the same punching power, but the guy has very technical, high volume striking, a plus 2.1 striking differential, 48% accuracy. But what he lacks in punching power, he makes up for that volume, outpoints his opponent. The damage starts to add up. His cardio is great, so he's not going to slow down. So I'm actually going to go with Wood in this one. Jourdain is fun, but he doesn't fight the smartest. He's a fun guy to watch, but he doesn't fight the smartest, and which is probably why half of his UFC fights have ended by him losing. So
fight IQ not very high.
no, he's 4-4-1, but he has looked great recently. So he's got the like recency bias going a little bit, and that's what I think. He actually is a slight favorite, so I like Nathaniel Wood a lot in this as the underdog.
I think Nathaniel Wood's good value too in this one, man.
Nice. I'm glad to hear that.
These English fighters are starting to come back in another wave.
Yeah, they're taking off, man.
He looked really good against Charles Rosen. I was impressed.
I was happy to see him back, man.
That was after the loss to Casey Kenny a couple years ago, where, like, I think he wins that fight now. Put it that way.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
So yeah, I like Nathaniel Wood in this one. I like that. Plus
Yeah,
120.
and I do like Charles Jourdain. He's a fucking. How can you not like the guy? He's crazy.
I would like to see Jourdain win still. I don't care.
Yeah, he's 26 years old. That kid's got a bright future and super fun. So nothing bad against them. But we're both going to go with Nathaniel Wood. So we're going to move right to the next one. Alessio Di Chirico versus Roman Kopylov. Kopylov has not looked great in the UFC to say the least so far. He lost his first UFC fight against Carl Roberson, who was cut after, I think, 4 straight losses, getting finished in all 4 of those fights. So not necessarily the best competition. Then he was able to fight. He wasn't able to fight for 2 years before his next fight, and he fought Albert Duraev and did manage a knockdown, but did lose 2 rounds to 1 for sure. Di Chirico, like Kopylov, is a striker. He's 1-4 in his last 5 and got finished in 17 seconds in a fight where each guy landed 1 punch. So you can say it's a freak thing. You can say whatever you want. And it happens. Al Hassan was, overdue for a win. So what are you going to do?
He was a cornered dog, man.
He was, dude. He was wild. He needed that win so bad. After Di Chirico started the UFC 4-1 with 4 KO finishes, he took a jump in competition. And maybe it was too much too soon. I think this one is a better matchup for him. The best matchup he's had in some time. I actually think this fight is like a low-key banger. Both guys have their backs against the wall and like to strike, so I'm kind of seeing a finish here. I think it's going to be hard fought back and back, but I think Di Chirico will be able to get it done.
Yeah, I really like Di Chirico in this fight. I was hoping you'd say that, so
nice.
Happy we agree on that.
Kopylov,
he got caught in his last fight. He was able to put Joaquin Buckley away after Joaquin Buckley had that hype of the Impa Kasagane and the Jordan Wright knockouts. And he put him away in 2 minutes. It was cool to see that. But other than that, I like Di Chirico. I don't think he's
his chin might be questionable.
His chin's questionable 100%.
But I like him.
And Kopylov did have a pretty nice knockdown in his last fight against Duraev.
But boy, did he fucking suck in that fight besides that 1 punch.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. He lost the rest of that fight. I'm pretty confident that Di Chirico could pull this one off.
Yeah, I like it too. What's the odds on that?
I don't even think there's odds up.
Really? Damn.
Nope.
Dude, we're getting this shit out early. Oh, no, I'm seeing it right now. I got it. Even.
Even?
Very slight 115 to 105 in favor of Di Chirico.
Take Di Chirico. I love it.
I like that pick too, dude. I like that. But you know what? Kopylov is a cornered dog. But we're gonna agree. Both gonna go Di Chirico. Gonna move right into the next one, which is the one that we just skipped. What was it, Dan? Nasrat Haqparast versus
John Makdessi.
I love John Makdessi, dude. That guy is always fun to watch.
Yeah. John Makdessi, he's a pretty big underdog in this fight, but he's in every fight that he's in it. You know, it's not that he's not in the fight.
Oh my God, he's so good. He gets into wars,
man. He always makes the fight interesting, but he's getting up there in age, 37 years old. He had that split decision win over Ignacio Bahamondes in his last fight. I think that Haqparast is a better fighter than Bahamondes. Haqparast has had a bunch of he's had some high highs and some low lows so far in the UFC.
Very true.
Getting stopped by Drew Dober, losing to Dan Hooker while Dan Hooker's been on his decline, and he really just got absolutely demolished by Bobby Green in his last fight. Bobby Green, he's a quick, he was just jabbing him to death. Haqparast actually looked decent against Dan Hooker when he wasn't getting taken down. Dan Hooker didn't really want to stand with him. He's got some power. He's just a pretty hard-hitting southpaw. I think he bounces back in this fight. He's overdue for a win. John Makdessi, as much as I love him, he's on the downslope of his
Oh
career.
no, come on.
Um,
He's at the tail end of his career, but I think that he's really competing at the highest level he has. You
I'm
know,
confident in Haqparast in this one, man. I
you know
think
what, dude?
he
I think
grinds
I'm
out a
gonna.
nice win.
I know he's like Haqparast is 27 years old. You know, he's like a decade younger. But John Makdessi, dude, he just keeps surprising me, and I'm not gonna bet against him in this one. I'm gonna have to go with John Makdessi. You know, he's got a plus 1.6 striking differential, 51% accuracy. Nasrat Haqparast has had 39% accuracy and has been outstruck at least over almost 3-1 in his last two fights alone. I know he's fought good guys, Bobby Green, Dan Hooker, but I haven't really liked what I've seen from him. And I was so impressed by Ignacio Bahamondes, how he was able to, like, the size in that fight did not matter. He was able to just make it dirty, make it ugly, and get it done. And I think he does the same thing in this fight. So I'm going to go with John Makdessi, dude.
All right, we'll see what happens,
I
man.
know. Call me fucking crazy. So we're gonna disagree on this one. I'm gonna go with John Makdessi, and Dan is gonna go with Nasrat Haqparast, and we're gonna move right into the next one, which is Robert Whittaker versus Marvin Vettori. You want this one? Or you
Yeah,
want me to take it, Dan?
I'll take it. And I think we're both in agreement with this one, man.
All right, let's get into this.
Vettori's good. He's a well-rounded fighter.
Absolutely phenomenal in his last time out against Paulo Costa. The best he's ever looked.
Yeah, and Paul landed 190 strikes or something. Yeah, 190 strikes on the dot actually in that fight. He's just been a stud. He didn't want any part of Kevin Holland's ground game back in 2021. I mean stand up
Oh
back
hell
in
no!
took him down like 11 or 12 times. But Vittori's a beast. I remember Izzy said he's just got a blockhead, and that's one of his bigger weapons. He just doesn't really get
He's
hurt.
tough as nails, man. Tough as
You
fucking nails.
can
And he's crazy. That helps you too.
He's crazy. But I think you got Izzy and Robert Whittaker easily, you know,
That's what it is.
head and shoulders above the rest. The middleweight division, if you really look at it, it's not too intriguing. It's not in a great place right now. There's not too many great fighters in it. Without Robert Whittaker and Izzy at the top, it's a very weak
Yeah, it's one
division.
of the weakest divisions, probably up there with like heavyweight division, or
Yeah,
maybe or like a female bantamweight or something like that. You know,
yeah. But yeah, I just got Robert Whittaker. He's overall just the better fighter in this. Very well rounded.
super.
Basically, I think he's better than besides in chin strength, I think he's better in than Vettori in every single way. He's
Well,
faster, hits
yeah,
harder, better technical striker,
yeah, for sure.
good takedown, like his wrestling game's developed recently.
Oh my god, his grappling is great now. Who's that training partner he's got? That he's a
Malkoon,
very what? Oh, Jacob Malkoon, dude.
is it Jacob Malkoon?
Jacob
Yeah,
Malkoon, that's who it is. Great training partner. I really think those two guys work so well together. He's got so much more well rounded. He added a whole nother element to. He needed to improve. He added a whole because we know his striking is amazing, and he's got a great chin. He's got great cardio. Marvin Vettori, he's literally looking the best he has looked in his entire career. And I don't want to take anything from him, but I think Robert Whittaker pretty much can take him. I expect Vettori to like really close the distance early, though. Probably go for takedowns early.
yeah, but I don't think he could take Whittaker down. I think Whittaker wins convincing 30-27
I think
unanimous.
maybe he goes down, but not for long. You know, I
Yeah,
think he'll notch a few, but yeah, I think a great bounce back right now for Robert Whittaker. Yeah, we're both going to agree. Both going to go with Robert Whittaker. Going to move right into the next one, the main event: Ciryl Gane versus Tai Tuivasa. Very interesting fight. It's like very conflicting types of strikers. It's like the guy that's like super technical and the guy that's a fucking brawler. You know, so
yeah.
it's a very interesting matchup and it's going to be a fun one. Tai Tuivasa, he's on a fucking terrific run. One of the most impressive in recent heavyweight history. 5 straight KO wins. His last 3 were all performance of the night awards. He's a funny guy. You know,
Great personality.
Great person. He
Give him
like, he's drinking beers like the rest of us. He's hanging out. He's having a good time, and he's cool. Extremely hard hitter, and he's like a fucking brawler. That's what he does. Ciryl Gane is a technician, extremely technical Muay Thai, very fast hands, moves like a fucking 185er, extremely light on his feet, and he's a 5-round fighter, right? You don't see a lot of heavyweight fighters that are 5-round fighters, so that's pretty interesting. I can't say the same thing. It's not like Derek Lewis. He's trying to beat you up in a minute. He's trying to get you out there in a minute. This guy, he's playing the long game. It's a good thing to do because a lot of heavyweights don't have conditioning. So you get out of the first
round on his feet.
Yeah, you take over. And Gane is coming off his first career loss to the champ in his last time out. Tuivasa has the power on his side, but I think that's about it, man. And maybe size. I think he might be a little bit heavier. Gane's like
Ciryl still like towers over him. I feel like he's got a 2-inch height advantage, but I feel like it's a lot bigger than that.
Yeah, he's a tall dude, and he's not like Tai Tuivasa is like 265 cuts to that. Like this guy's just like he's sitting at 245. He's not doing much to cut. And I expect Gane to go out there and bounce back in a big way, basically.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Ciryl Gane too. It's just the technical striking, the speed, and everything is just obviously on Ciryl Gane's side. He likes to keep his distance. He's not going to get hit that much, and he stays at kicking distance. And Tai Tuivasa is the type of dude that just throw a bunch of punches. He'll throw some leg kicks and shit too. But for a southpaw, it's not really going to do too much damage. I could actually see a stoppage on Ciryl Gane's side. It could kind of. In a way, it kind of reminds me of the Derek Lewis fight because Derek Lewis and Tai Tuivasa fight in a similar way. But for some reason, I keep picturing a left body kick dropping Tai Tuivasa or one of Ciryl Gane's step-in knees up close, and he throws beautiful knees and beautiful body kicks. I'm gonna go with Ciryl Gane TKO.
Wow, that's a pretty good bet. It's definitely I assume that they're gonna predict that he's gonna win by decision. That's what I'm just assuming. But so I do like that a lot, though.
Favorite, man. It's like, come on.
Yeah. I wonder what the rounds are going to be. Probably 3.5 or 4.5 over under.
I could see a lot. It's probably going to be like a minus 560 still at KO or sub. KO or points.
Yeah. Double chance.
See how it goes. But I like Ciryl Gane. I think his body work is gonna put in a lot throughout the fight, and I think he's gonna be able to get a finish from him.
Yeah, man, I totally agree. And is there any way that the minus like 300, 400 favorite loses in the main event 2 weeks in a row?
I don't think so, man.
I think the bookies would go crazy. The mob's not gonna let this happen, man.
Nah,
it's not gonna let it happen. Too much money on the line. All right. So we're agreeing. Ciryl Gane. And we're back. Sir. We're back, baby.
We're back.
We're back and better than ever. All right. No brainer MMA.
Signing off.
Peace. Good to see you.